I mean, I still think that Ravens team is one of the best in the league, but right now the Patriots are exploitable because they don't have Gerard Mayo and Randy Moss and Wes Welker, and a lot of people right now are banged up, so you can take advantage of that. And Buffalo had a great chance, couldn't do it, and now Baltimore had a solid chance and couldn't take care of it. So eventually it catches up with you. Bucks and Redskins. I was tracking this game a little bit because the ineptitude involved kind of interested me, I guess, and damn. When Campbell was throwing all those picks early on and there was I think a blocked field goal or a missed extra point or something like that, I was just laughing. I thought, man, if Tampa Bay pulls this off, it's going to be hilarious. Because I know Washington's not good this year. They're not, but there's no reason why they can't lose to why they can't beat the Buccaneers rather. So I was kind of hoping it would happen because I kind of like to root for the stuff that would be funniest. But at the end of the day, they proved that they are the better team. Campbell played a good third quarter. Portis played a decent game, and I got to give it up to guys like Josh Johnson though. I mean, Josh Johnson, first start in the NFL, really first action in the NFL ever, and he played okay. And right now, this Bucks team, there's no hope on this team. There are like maybe 2 young stars on this team that Bucks fans can legitimately get excited about: Kellen Winslow and Barrett Ruud. And really, they're not good now. And even if you look at the future, you're thinking, what do they got? They really don't got much. But it's nice to see little things like that come along, although it's eventually going to have to be Josh Freeman. Dolphins, Bills, I don't know. I guess we're just learning that, I guess Trent Edwards is just bad. I kind of thought he was okay based off what I saw in a few games, but maybe he's just bad. I was watching the highlights on this game, and he looked the part, so I don't know exactly what to make of that because, Miami was starting Chad Henne, his first ever start as a quarterback, and I know they run the Wildcat, but at the same time, when you lose your starting quarterback and go to a guy like Chad Henne, it should be a big drop-off, but I don't know. I mean, this was an ass-whooping. It really was, and it really did surprise me. I really thought Buffalo would have a little more pride than that, and it's going to be amusing to see how T.O. reacts to all of this because Buffalo is looking like one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, they beat Tampa Bay, another one of the worst teams in the league. I know they played close with New England, but they still found a way to blow it, and I don't know, but I was really surprised to see a team quarterbacked by Chad Henne at this point in the season beat somebody by 28 points, so... And T.O.'s not even having a good year. I actually predicted before the season he wasn't going to have a good year. I didn't feel great about that prediction, but I felt stronger about it than I would the other side, and so far it's working out. Jets Saints, I've watched pretty much all of this game. I did get coverage of it, and even though the Saints only scored 17 or 14 offensive points, something like that, not too many offensive points, their offense is still a joy to watch. I gotta say, their offense, even when it's not always working, is fun to watch. It's fun to watch Breeze go through his progressions. It's fun to watch their running backs try to, get yards. It's just a fun team to watch offensively. And, defensively, they got Darren Sharper making plays. They're forcing turnovers. I mean, Darren Sharper's playing like one of the best players in the league right now, and it's been a long time since he's played that well. And obviously today Breeze did not throw for over 200 yards, did not throw a touchdown for the second straight week on both those counts, and I still enjoyed watching him. I mean, that offense, it wasn't always working perfectly, but the way he plays the game, it's fun to watch. And for the Jets, you're still a good team. That wasn't an indictment against you out there. That was just the better team at home outplaying you. And you have a rookie quarterback, stuff like that is going to happen. And you're still probably, I think right now, you're still the best team in that division. But Mark Sanchez is going to have to take his lumps at some point, and today was one of those lumps. So The only other thing I want to say is I can't figure out this Reggie Bush thing. If I understand if the Saints' offensive line isn't good at run blocking, then okay, but Pierre Thomas and Mike Bell are doing it. Can't Reggie Bush at least change his running style enough to somewhat emulate what those two guys do? There's no reason why he shouldn't be effective, because I was watching it and I was just scratching my head wondering how is this happening? I don't know. I guess it's not a big deal for that team the way they play, but eventually you're going to wish you had the good Reggie Bush. Dallas-Denver, another game that I watched pretty much the whole thing of. Pretty slow game. Dallas obviously came out, started off well, and you know what happened in that game has been talked about by a lot of different people already. Obviously, from what I saw, Romo played like crap pretty much the whole game, and I kept waiting because, you know, Denver's offense wasn't playing very well. I kept waiting, you know, thinking, okay, eventually Romo's going to find one of his receivers. There's going to be one big play, and Dallas will lock this up. And it just never happened. It never transpired. He was inaccurate on almost every pass I saw. I know early in the game he was playing all right, except for the fumble. Got to hold on to the football, but I watched, like, I especially paid attention near the end because Jets Saints got a little bit out of hand, and he couldn't complete a pass, and I kept waiting for him to snap out of it, and he didn't. And with each passing week that this happens, more Cowboys fans are going to jump off the Romo wagon, and I just see a long list of Cowboys fans calling for his head. Some are being a little more rational than that, but it's the same basic idea. And Denver, you know, obviously they got pretty lucky out there with the dropped, with, you know, Anthony Spencer not coming up with that pick, but their defense played awesome. Brandon Marshall made a huge play at the end when they needed it. They had the one turnover that resulted in 0 points, so it's not really that big a deal. And they're 4-0, and I got a lot of respect for that team. I know a lot of people are talking down on them, but I'm not going to be one of those. I'm going to say it. Denver, I think they're for real. Niners, Rams. I got nothing to say here. I heard a lot of my friends saying, oh man, I picked up the Niners defense in fantasy and they kicked ass for me today. So I think they had like 3, maybe 2 defensive touchdowns and the shutout and the sacks and all that. That always helps. So it played out a lot like our game against the Rams, because I was watching that game and we started poorly. We started slow. The 49ers started slow too. They didn't score for quite a while actually into that game, and then finally later in the game they kind of snapped into it and piled on, and 35-0. What are you going to say about that? And it's definitely depressing to watch that Rams team, and you really wonder, are they going to pull off 16-0? But I think we are going to see a 0-16. I think we are going to see an 0-16 team this year. I mean, there's so many bad teams out there right now that I think it's going to happen. And, you know, early in the game I was thinking to myself, good thing I stayed away from this game, because I was worried that not having Frank Gore would mean less of an offensive punch, but in this game the Niners didn't really need an offensive punch. Chargers-Steelers. I watched this game. It's Sunday night, of course, so I watched it. And I don't know how you don't fire the whole staff after a performance like that by San Diego. You know, the offense played fine. The offense had no chance to do anything early in the game. And then in the last 20 minutes, when they actually had opportunities to do something, they drove the field like it was nothing. They had no problem driving up and down the field like a Pro Bowl offense. But early in the game they didn't have a chance, so you can't really put that on them. But that defense, you know, when you're watching your team and the secondary's playing 10-15 yards off the receivers, and the opposing receivers are like open by like 8-9 yards on every play, and you get really mad. That's what this whole game was like. Every passing play for Pittsburgh, wide open receivers, Holmes, Ward, Miller, whoever, it didn't matter. Everybody was open. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was such a pathetic effort by San Diego all around. I remember when Merriman and Phillips used to get one of the best rushes in the whole league, and now they hardly got any pressure on Ben, and when they did, he just got away. And that secondary is, oh my god, that was horrible. They would pull those plays where they rush 2 people or rush 3 people and drop everyone else back into coverage, and there's still somebody wide open, so what's the point? After the game, Cromartie actually went on Twitter and basically said, hey, you guys don't know what you're talking about. If you guys went out there, you would know what I understand. You don't understand how the defense works, So all these people talking bad about me, shut up. And to that, I can only shake my head, because Cromartie is played awful. He is awful. He's been awful for the last season and 4 games now. He hasn't done anything since 2007 except, I guess, the Jets game. And really that whole defense, it was just pitiful, especially at the end when San Diego actually had a chance to tie it.